Hey, Luke Prentice, Thrift After 40 here, and I'm starting a series of videos called Over 40 Muscle Building Modifications, or mods. Mods are just easier and sound cooler. And my first muscle building mod is how to build muscle after 40 without lifting heavy weights or injuring yourself. So the biggest hurdle to building muscle if you're over 40 is injury, bar none. And the number one reason we get injured is because we were taught if we want to build muscle, we have to get stronger and lift heavier weights, and that's the only way to build muscle. So every time we want to build more muscle, we have to lift heavier. Well, that school of thought is outdated and wrong if our primary goal is to build muscle. That style of lifting is more for strength building instead of muscle building. And while the two can go hand in hand in that we get stronger a lot of times, when we get stronger a lot of times we grow muscle after the strength gain. But there's not a direct correlation between strength and muscle size. All you have to do is look around at the top power lifters who are the strongest dudes in the world and compare them to the top bodybuilders. The bodybuilders' muscles are twice the size of the power lifters, but they couldn't lift near the amount of weight as a power lifter. Now, don't get me wrong, bodybuilders are strong too, but they aren't as strong as power lifters at the same level of their game. And that's because strength has a lot to do with our central nervous system and the firing off of muscles together to produce maximum force at the beginning of the lift and create some momentum. Muscle building, on the other hand, tries to make the muscle do all the work by keeping it under tension rather than exploding at the beginning of the movement and using momentum to help finish the lift. So the longer the muscle is under tension, the more it grows. That's why slow and controlled lifting is used to build muscle more than explosive fast lifting. One way is better for moving weight, the other way is better for building muscle. Well, guess what else explosive lifting does when you move more maximum weight? You get hurt. And there's three main reasons for this. First off, you lose good form. And I'm sure I don't need to explain how bad form puts your body at bad angles or positions it's not supposed to be in, which cause injury. And it's hard to focus on good form when you're trying to explode through a movement because you're more focused on the explosion itself. That's why powerlifters, they have to train for years on individual lifts just to get the form down to where they keep perfect form while they're performing explosive movements. They have to make it a motor skill to where their body does it perfect without having to think about it. It's imprinted in their brain. And the second reason explosive lifting gets you hurt is when you explode into a lift, your tendons, ligaments, and muscles, they get jerked by the weight when you start the lift. In other words, the muscle goes from zero strain to maximum strain in a millisecond. Think about if you want to break something. Do you pull on it real slow or do you jerk it real fast? And the same thing applies to our body. The harder we jerk our tendons, the easier it is to snap or tear them. The third reason lifting explosively injures us is because lifting fast and explosively, it makes us able to lift more weight. The more weight we lift, the more strain it puts on our joints and tendons because it's heavier, which our muscles might be able to handle the strain of heavy weight, but the end of the muscles where they attach to our bones are much smaller. They can't handle as much weight. But once the tendons get injured, the muscles, they're done too. So let's talk about what we should do. What we should be doing is lifting in a slow, controlled manner that keeps us at the same speed from the beginning of the lift to the end of the lift. This prevents all the problems I just mentioned with lifting for max strength. First off, it's a hell of a lot easier to keep our form when we can self-correct when we feel the weight moving in the wrong direction, or we feel a discomfort in our body of something that we're doing, and we can fix the mistake before it's too late and we've gone past the point of no return or the point of injury. The second thing is, we don't go from little or no stress on the tendons to max strain in a millisecond, which gives the tendons a slow tension or strain, which doesn't make it tear like jerking it does. The third thing is, when you take momentum out of a lift, you can't lift near as much weight. When we don't apply maximum force at the start of the lift to gain momentum, that takes away a good 20 to 30% of our strength. Now, just because we lift 20 to 30% less weight doesn't mean our muscles don't feel as overloaded or have to work as hard as they did when jerking the heavy weight up. Matter of fact, the muscle actually feels it more because it spends more time under tension and is forced to do all the work itself instead of depending on momentum to carry it through. Now, the muscle has to do all the work and actually responds better or grows better because it is the one doing all the work. In other words, we're isolating the muscle better. Take myself, for instance. My arms, they're bigger than they've ever been in my life. And I now lift lighter weights than I ever have before in my life, except for when I first started lifting. But I was stuck in the lift heavy to build muscle mode for 25 years and lifted a hell of a lot more weight then than I do now. but my muscles never responded like they do now. I finally got sick of injuring myself all the time and started focusing on isolating the muscles instead of moving weight. And I have the best physique of my life now at 51 years old. And I started applying the same concepts to my clients' workouts, and lo and behold, they built more muscle than ever before too. So you can take a look at my 49-year-old client Jim on my Ripped After 40 page and see his results, and you can see my results too. It's night and day. So to help y'all get started building muscle without lifting heavy weights, I made a cheat sheet with the 10 exercises to avoid if you're over 40 and their muscle building replacements. This will give you a place to start lifting for muscle and avoiding injury by eliminating 10 exercises that requires heavy weight and replacing them with exercises that don't. If you'd like the cheat sheet, go to my Ripped After 40 page and click on the 10 exercises to eliminate after 40 and the replacements post, and you can get it there for free. So that was my first over 40 muscle building mod, and stay tuned because I have a lot more where that came from. In my next video, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by lifting slowly and how to perform it, how to do it. Until then, if anybody wants my help to build muscle and lose fat after 40, just go to my Ripped After 40 Facebook page and click the Book Now button and schedule a free Ripped After 40 strategy session with me. I'll get you set up with a step-by-step plan to get ripped after 40, whether you choose to work with me or not. And I'm also running a special right now for 20% off my 90-day coaching program, where I provide the nutrition coaching, workout coaching, and the supplements you need with the program to put your body in fat burning and muscle building mode into overdrive. And that's $360 off my normal price. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Go download the cheat sheet and start focusing on taking momentum out of your lifting and instead make your muscles do the work. Until then, be ripped.